All right, I am live now. Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. And we've moved. So I am in a haphazard situation right now. I'm not going on camera and I wasn't even expecting to go live, but is simply this breaking story of I don't the a crash, a UPS crash. I thought I had started this, but I hadn't. Let me check, make sure that I'm actually broadcasting. Hold on. My apologies. I'm on my laptop. My desktop hasn't been set up yet, so that yes, it does say live. I don't expect anybody to be watching this right now, that's for sure. Cause we get up at the crack of dawn, and when you're in a whole new place, you can't sleep well because it's new. And so you'll catch this afterwards. Um, yeah, all the stuff that's going on in the world right now is to distract from the epic undeniability that everything has changed, and it's biblically predicted as the Most High knew that these folks were going to go digging around and trudging up stuff, and because they are so violent, and whatever they find, they always fashion it into a weapon. And so that's what they've done with the discovery of uranium ore. And that began with the fissioning and the breaking it apart, began with, what was it? Not Oh, I can't remember. Rutherford, Ernest Rutherford was the first person to discover the volatile nature of uranium. And then not Madam, yeah, Marie Curie, she separated it out into radium and I don't know, there was another item that she also separated out into whichever. She wore a amulet of it on her neck and she died of cancer. Yeah, they're going to twist stuff into weapons, and that's what they've done with the radiation, but it doesn't respond to their desires for it in the way that, just a simple mechanized battering ram or a bullet will do what you plan on it doing. With radiation, it is magnitudes too volatile on an atomic level for them to control it, so they're trying to control our perception of what's going on in the world. So everybody is really thoroughly traumatized by white people. I don't mean if you are a good, righteous, upstanding white person, I have got nothing against you. You're not my people. I don't expect you to be my people. You're not going to work on behalf of Black us, and thereby I'm grateful to Allah that I have a curiosity. I ran across, well, Fukushima ran across everybody. And so that I have enough of a curiosity that I've never let it go. And I've done epic research, reading just documentation ad nauseum for other people, but I know what we're facing. And so it demands that level of detail, especially when it comes to Black us, because with your help, I've been able to assess this is a targeted genocide towards Black us, but because they can't control it, it's affecting everything. And so with the headline that should be on your screen, I hope it's on your screen, um, 7 killed when UPS cargo plane explodes upon takeoff at Louisville Airport. I cannot show the video, not at all. I've realized that, first off, if you're a Black person speaking the truth in general, you can have a chance of them promoting you, but overall, they don't want us being encouraging to one another. So they'll promote the Procyon loaders more than they'll promote just even a self-loving Black person. You cannot have a top channel in any of their social media platforms and specifically promote Black love and based on truth, not based on fantasy, not based on some unicorn theory that the swirlers who were easily dispensed, I'm sure they're still there because they're hired to do what they do. But it was easily everything they shared was easily dismissed. Same with, BLM, which they admitted is a trans surgical organization. They were also easily dismissed. That's why they got to transfer what they were doing, and they failed at in destroying the Black male patriarchy. Um, they've transferred it to people like Joy Reid and, oh God, I can't remember the name of, Don Lemon and other folks like that, that they've been building up their uh, ascendance, and a Candace Owens. They built their ascendance up so that they can take on the message that BLM was not successful at. That's why Joy Reid is out there saying, I'm going to promote, we should build a LGBTQ Black museum. Literally, they're just anybody who is gay in any way, they're just pushing them down our throats because we remain steadfastly against such a practice. We don't own any of the hospitals that were mutilating children, literally. We don't own them. So to be then a pro-Black person who's going to examine nuclear and going through the book that was written by Erica Brow, who, brother A, you sent that to me because that is one heck of an expensive book. My whole library is because of you, family. Okay, I do what I do because you have donated, you bought our products, and thereby I've been able, like, that's what I do. I spend money on the books without going overboard, but it's a huge part of my budget is getting the data. So I know when I am confronted by these pro-nuke lunatics that they don't stand a leg at all. And so to be a pro-Black and anti-nuclear person, and I'm Black. I don't think there are any pro-Black white people out there at all. We terrify them. But to do that, there's no chance in hell they're going to let my warning seem as if it's gained a foothold. I know that actually my voice is it's had a large hearing. And there are people out there, I'm sure, who are pondering, even now when they see all these different things like the plane explosion. Wow, I remember that sister who was warning us about radiation, warning us. It's just that they keep all these things out of the headline with the distractions so that you don't pay attention or you aren't even aware. Like in Daily Mail, they no longer showcase the epic die-off of creatures all over the globe because any nuclear power plant is a slow release nuclear bomb times several thousands because a bomb is a one-time impact. I'm not saying, oh, gee, a nuclear bomb is of no importance. Of course it is. Reading Ernest Sternglass, he studied the fallout. There would be bombs that would be tested in the Midwest, and the fallout would go all the way over to New York. So those things are quite destructive because he also measured very exactingly the upswing in conditions related to the proximity one had to radiological contamination. So that's not what I mean. I'm just saying the nuclear power plants are slow release radiological hotspots because they have to vent them on a constant basis. So the die-off is happening all over the planet. And the effects of the radiation is happening all over the planet. It's just at Fukushima because notice there's no sarcophagus that they can build over the damn thing because the sarcophagus would explode all over again. It would create a noble gas, just criticality on the inside. Because it's still releasing and it's been, I got to just hazard a guess, maybe 100,000 Fukushima, no, not Fukushima, but Nagasaki and Hiroshima bombs by this point in time. That has been such a just outlier, aberration, so you could study what the radiation does. You don't need a lab at this point in time. I've just done the historical research and I paid attention to all the current happenings out there to verify, yes, something drastically has changed about our planet. And so this UPS explosion horrifically killed 7 people. And I'm just glad there wasn't more. It was a, carrier plane or just what I can't remember the word for cargo plane. That's what I'm looking for. And so gratefully it wasn't a passenger plane, but the same thing that affected it. So that, I mean, you've got to go see the video so you can just, this explosion, it reminds me of the one that happened in Korea, South Korea, just at, it was either the beginning of this year or just last year. I think it was towards the beginning of this year. And it just ran. It couldn't stop itself into a wall, a barrier wall at the end of the tarmac. And everybody died. So many planes crashing. I'm thinking of the other one that was in South America where, oh no, it was in India that just went down. It just dived straight down and killed hundreds of people. One man managed to survive. This is not just because these planes are all built by Black people. Oh my God, they come up with so many ways to try to deflect the blame to Black us, including the whole Boeing lies, epic lies that never happened. That's not when I did the research, I found out that there's like 0.07% of Boeing staff is Black. Right? So they're freaking out. They're freaking out because people are going to notice. And sooner or later, somebody's going to say, yo, this sister over here is telling the truth. Dana Durnford's telling the truth. Kevin Blanch is telling the truth. I still miss Christina Consolo because her and Lauren Murray used to run down and explain the details of the Wigner effect. But the problem is that you don't have to fly in an airplane. I'm not saying that there aren't planes taking off and landing and nobody's hurt. Every single second of the day, somewhere on this planet, most of them still make their destination. I'm just saying that ain't gonna last but for so much longer. You can see the increase in these explosions. So sooner or later, all these folks are going to say to themselves, wait a minute. Something is different. And there's reasons, scientific reasons for it, which means that there are scientific reasons or methods, as I found by researching Dr. Yuri Bandashevsky's work. In Russia, he deeply studied Chernobyl. He found ways to get the radiation out of our bodies because it is volatile on an atomic basis. Thereby, it's in our food. This whole concept they've given that radiation is just these little waves that go out. Alice Stewart, one of their greatest, that they thoroughly just not demoralized, but they just pilloried her into oblivion and made absolute fun of her. And she was a genius. She was literally a genius. She was a certified doctor, educated at their highest levels. To me, that's not really any accolades, but it is what it is. And she said she was gobsmacked because she just thought it was all about the x-rays. And that's what she specifically studied, the effect of those. She was gobsmacked when she went to study at Hanford, and she found out that radiation was particles, atoms, that then send out all of these waves. Well, these atoms are getting in the fuselages of these airplanes, and they're disastrous, obviously. And they're only going to increase, because when you've got something that it's destructive on an atom basis, and then you've had hundreds of thousands of tons being put out by every single nuclear facility there is, whoa, everything's changed. So sooner or later, you're going to say, you know what? Sister Ajali ain't no joke. She ain't no joke. She for real. Right? And I had to be reminded to remind you to support us in our work, because ain't nobody else doing this, and it needs to be done. It needs to be done. These people are out of their goddamn minds, right? Doing all that. That's why they got Trump up in there. He's so crazy, and he knows he's crazy. Giving George Santos a pardon. I thought that they were, we don't want to see no more dresses in the military. But you're going to release George Santos, who just robbed people, right? And he cross-dressing him? Come on, stop. That's why Trump is there, because he's insane. In my firm conclusion, dude is such a psychopath. He don't give a damn about nothing. He has no just rootedness to sanity whatsoever. He'll do whatever he's told. He's already proven it when people started questioning his epic ties to Israel and the whole, like, I've heard he's a member of Shabbat. Right? I've seen the pictures of him kissing the Wailing Wall. Right? So you got to get the word out. Support us. Not everybody charity is approved of. And the charity isn't so that we can, have a fancy house or anything of the sort. No, we don't do that. We've never done that. I'm this work. Dr. She's about that work. Because at a certain point in time, we both were like, yo, this is insane. This is nuts. We got to do what needs to be done. Right? Like Dr. Africa did, like Baba Steve Coakley. Those are heroes. Real ones, not the fake ones. Okay, so I think I said all I need to say. I got to get off of here so I can say my morning prayer. I don't even know if I'm broadcasting. I might have just said all of this for no reason, because as I say, I'm on my laptop. It's acting all kind of strange. So let me come on over to the StreamYard. And it says that there are 2 people watching, and that's good. Good morning to you. And I love your family. I wouldn't do this if I didn't love you, okay? And yeah, straight Black pride is our forever papers. Peace and blessings. Have a magnificent day or magnificent time whenever you're listening to this. Peace and blessings, everyone.